Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. So today I wanted to talk about autism, like high functioning autistic tendencies, and like I wanted to touch on like the asexual thing, because I know in my last, not my last video, but in the video before I made, and I was talking about sex and I didn't understand the hype about sex. I just didn't get it. And I was saying that I think I'm coming to the conclusion I may be asexual. I'm also coming to the conclusion that I might be like a high functioning autistic person. And the reason as to why I've come to this conclusion is because, I mean, firstly, I've watched a lot of people who are, you know, high functioning autistics. Like I've kind of watched videos about them and like their experiences and things like that, and I've noticed that like I'm really attracted to people who would be considered as like, I'm just trying to think, who can I use as an example? Like, you know, like Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory. If you don't know about The Big Bang Theory, where have you been? But not everybody, you know, watches TV or whatnot. So, but like the guy in the Big Bang Theory, like how he behaves, like he's not autistic in the show, but that's kind of like because I used to think it was like intellects that I was attracted to, like sapiosexuals, but I think it's like, because you know autistic people, they're very intelligent, but I think it's like I think it's an autistic thing, you know, because you know, okay, let me just start again. I like nerdy people. I like intelligent people. I like awkward people. I like weird people. I like intellectual people, and I like logical people. And I like honest people. And those are like all of the attributes that I have found that like autistic people tend to have. And the reason why I feel like I might be like a high function autistic person, because you know it's a spectrum, right? Because you know autistic people, they find it hard to like assess and understand like people's emotions and things like that. And even though I would say I can be emotional, I'm like logic and reason first. And I find it very hard to understand most people, which is why it's hard for me to maintain friendships or relationships, because a lot of the times I'm like, what the fuck are you doing and why would you do that? Like, I don't understand people's reasonings, like logical reasonings for their patterns of behavior, for the decisions that they make. And at one point I used to think that like, you know, 90% of the population, I mean, I still kind of feel like that, has like undiagnosed mental health disorders that stem from trauma. And this is why a lot of people are so narcissistic and mean, and like they can't control their emotions, and they're like angry one minute, want to kill you the next, and you know what I mean? So I was like, am I the only normal one? But then I was realizing the other day, like maybe I'm actually like, maybe there's something wrong with me. Not to say, sorry, my nose ring always like starts to tickle me. Not to say that there's anything wrong with you if you are autistic, but it's like, I really don't function the way that I don't retain information the way that people do. And one thing I've noticed about like people who have autism, like they're very honest, and a lot of the times their honesty gets them into trouble. And when they are, sorry, my nose is really tickling me. It's this hay fever. Oh my goodness. Sorry guys, 1 second. Okay, so when I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, like when, like for example, if anyone has seen you know, The Big Bang Theory, like there are parts where Sheldon he will say something just being honest, but he doesn't realize that like he's hurting people's feelings. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like, I feel like I can be like that, where it's like I'll say something just because I'm honest. I mean, that's half the reason as to why I've changed my channel to The Truth Hurts, because it was like I was tired of feeling like, excuse me, I have to mask what I say or like sugarcoat things so that people don't get offended, because it's like, we're adults. Like, I don't understand why everybody gets so offended by the truth, you know? So I changed my channel name because I'm like, I want to be able to talk about things. And, you know, it's kind of like a disclaimer, if you will. It's like, you know what, like, the truth hurts. So if you want to watch anything, just, you have to be prepared that something that I say may offend you. But the thing about me is, like, I don't ever know, like, when I'm actually being offensive, because it's been like a lot of times that I could be in a conversation with someone and like everything will be going fine, we'll be having a great conversation, the next thing you know, they'll just start being mean or rude to me, and I'm just like, okay. And then I have to like try to figure out, what did I say, why this person feels like they can talk to me like this, you know what I mean? Like, and I have to analyze and assess. And one thing I've noticed is that when you are someone who's very honest, it's like, most people are not. Most people are not honest. Most people lie, they deceive. And I know that with autistic people, that's not a trait. Like, they're very honest. They don't, like, it's not that they can't lie or they don't lie. Well, the highly functioning ones anyway. It's just like, what is the purpose of lying? Like, and I think that when you're very honest and other people are very like, because everyone's very indirect. That's what I've noticed, especially like women, but like people don't mean what they say. And because I mean what I say, a lot of the times people think that like, I am not being honest, and then they overanalyze what I'm saying. And then it's just, then that's what causes the tit for tat or the indirect. Like, most of the time somebody's indirect to me, I don't even know. You know, and then I know that sometimes, you know, autistic people, they're very intelligent, but they can come across quite slow because they are not actually aware. Like, they don't pick up on like emotional cues and things like that. So they're not, like, if you're being sarcastic, for example, to Sheldon Cooper, like, he doesn't understand that you're being sarcastic. He will take what you're saying for gospel, because it's like, well, I'm an honest person, and why would you, that, you know what I mean? Like, sarcasm and all that. So with me, it's like, when I've been in friendships or relationships and things like that, it's like the person will always be mean or sarcastic to me, and then I don't really know that that's what they're doing. So I'll continue to speak, and then it's like they'll get even more frustrated, because then after they'll realize, oh wow, she didn't actually realize I was being mean. And then it's kind of like they feel frustrated because I didn't get it, and then they feel like guilty because they were being a bitch for no reason. But then they think, okay, no, well, she must have, like, you know what I mean? And it's like, no, like, I genuinely don't understand when someone, like, I'm one of those people, because I'm very good with discernment, so I can figure out if someone is being a bitch, but it's like, I have to be triggered. Like, you, like, for example, if someone lies to me, like, I'm not one of those people, I'm not going to overanalyze what you say to me. I'm just going to take what you say for however the fuck you say it. If you give me a reason to overanalyze you, if you give me a reason to be like, okay, hold on a minute, that's when my brain will switch on, and I'm like, okay, now I have to pay close attention, because, you know, so for example, someone could tell me a story, like I could say, oh, what did you do last week Tuesday? You know, I was trying to get a hold of you, couldn't get a hold of you, oh, stuff, blah, 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 you know, I went to the library or some shit. I'm like, okay. Then I might bring it up again. I'm like, oh yeah, remember Tuesday, you know, and you'll be like, oh yeah, no, I went to a party. And I'm like, oh, you said you went to the library. And they'll be like, oh yeah, no, you know what I mean? So then now I'm like, okay, their story has changed. So then now, every time you speak to me, I'm going to kind of listen a little bit more closer and analyze just a little bit more stronger, a little bit more harder, because I've recognized that your story hasn't matched up. So I recognize that as a lie. So now I pay a closer attention when me and you are having a conversation, because you're not trustworthy. And with people who like have autism or they're on the spectrum or whatnot, they have really good memories, and so do I. But like with me, it's kind of like whenever I remember something, people always think that like I'm holding it to use like reverse psychology or to use their words against them or whatnot. And I'm just like, no, I just remember everything. Like I just have that type of memory. And I think because with me, I think that the way that I look to people is, I think that that's what it is. Because, you know, when someone has like something different about them, I feel like you can tell. But I think with me, because I'm very feminine, because I'm very girly looking, I think that people just assume that, like, I don't know what people think about me. I think people think a lot of different things, but it's like, I've noticed that people don't trust me. And it's like, I am like the realest person I know. There's not one person that I can think of from the top of my head that I can say, like, yeah, this person is as honest as me. Like 100%. Like, or this person is real as me, or I can trust them. Like, I can't think about anybody. Like, and I'm just being 100% real. Like, someone who I know, like, on a personal level, like, really close with, I can't. So it's like, I'm just like, is it normal for people to be liars and deceptive, or is it like an autistic thing to be honest? Like, do you know what I mean? Because it's like every person, like, and again, that's why I can't really maintain like friendships with people, because I can find a friend and then it's kind of like, I really think that they're cool, but then like when I get to know them, I realize that like half the shit they've said is either not true, or they're being manipulative in some way, or they're indirecting, or, you know, they start to shift their energy, or like they can't maintain the character that they presented to me when we first, you know, made friends or whatnot, 11, just as I said that. Whereas I'm like the same person when you met me, when you're friends with me, when you dated me, to like when the relationship ends. Like, I don't change because I'm not a liar. I don't have a mask. I don't have anything to hide. And so I was saying that to myself. I said to myself, I can't, like, it's either there's something wrong, very wrong with everyone, or there's something wrong with me. But it's like, but I feel like I act the right way. Like, do you know what I mean? So I'm just like, is it like I was really saying that to myself. I said, you know, could I be a high functioning autistic person? Like, even like, you know, somebody may ask for my advice about something, right? And then like, I'm one of those people, like I said, logic. So someone could say, I'm just trying to think of an example. I don't know, let's use pregnancy, for example. Say I have a friend, right? And she messages me and she says, oh my goodness, you know, I just found out I'm pregnant. I can't believe I got pregnant. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And then she keeps on repeating the fact that she can't believe that she's pregnant. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, she can't believe this. So obviously something miraculous, must have happened, because she's in complete disbelief that she has become pregnant. So I'm under the assumption that she must have used form of protection and that protection has not worked. And that's why she's so confused by it. Because logically, you know, if you've done everything that you can do to not get pregnant and then you become pregnant, then that would make sense as to why you're so surprised, right? So then I might say something like, oh, you know, you're really surprised. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, well, you know, you wore a condom, right? No. Okay, well, you're on the pill, or, you know, injection, or whatever other thing, like some form of contraception. No. So then I will respond like, so why are you surprised that you're pregnant? Like, do you know what I mean? And then like that will be taken offensive. But to me, it's a standard question, because it's like, I don't understand, like, you know, we all went to school, you know, you understand biology, the way the body works. You understand that when you have unprotected sex and someone ejaculates inside of you, there is a high percentage that, you know, the sperm can touch the egg and, you know, you can become pregnant. Like, that is that is just standard information. So I'm obviously going to ask all the necessary questions before I give my answer or I give my response. But then it's like, if I respond like that, it's just like, because most people are like, oh my goodness, you're pregnant, and what happened? Or they'll start blaming the guy. But I'm just like, well, you didn't wear a condom. You're not on any contraceptives. So what do you think was going to happen? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, but that would be considered offensive to somebody, when really it's not. It's logic. And then it's like, then I feel like I make the person feel dumb, or I make them feel stupid, or I make them, it could be considered as insensitive, I guess. But it's really, I'm just like trying to understand logically, like, I don't understand why you're surprised and you're in shock that you're pregnant, but you have not taken any precautions to stop yourself from becoming pregnant. So I don't understand that. Like, you know what I mean? So that would be my question. Like, well, why are you surprised that you're pregnant if you didn't do anything to stop yourself? Then it's like silence, or they're like, oh yeah, well, you're right. Like, you know, and then it kind of like, it just ends there. And it's just like I'm one of those friends, like, I don't like gas you up or tell you what you want to hear, or like, I'm not like with you. I'm trying to find the logical explanation. Like, I was talking to someone the other day and they all got rude to me, right? Like, they like basically said that they didn't want to speak to me. So I said, so why did you message me then? Because they messaged me. Like, and I think that they wanted me to, like, I don't know what they were expecting. But I think I touched, again, I said something and I think I had touched a nerve. I don't know what I said. And I was like, I'm not going back to listen to my voice note to find out what bit that you got really insecure about. I just don't give a fuck at this point. But like, I thought, well, obviously there's something that I said that was very honest. And so they got rude to me. And I said to them, well, why did you message me then? And it was like, they read the message and it took them like 20 minutes to come up with an answer, and they came back and they were like, oh, I don't know, Leonie, I'm fucked up. And I'm like, okay. Like, you know what I mean? And this is the thing, it's like with me, I hit you with the logic, because I'm not going to do the back and forth, the tit for tat thing. If I'm going to respond to you, I'm just going to respond to you with like a logical answer. And a lot of the times people cannot answer me with a logical, like they don't have a logical response, because a lot of the times they were being petty, or they made a dumb decision, or they wasn't thinking. And so it's kind of like, I think that they're so like insecure or like threatened, I guess, by the fact that like I'm not a dumb bitch. And so they don't want to appear like, because I think people think, oh, you know, you're a dumb bitch. So they try to play dumb, and then they're like, okay, actually, she's really not. And then they don't know what to say or how to respond to me, because their response is going to sound stupid. Do you know what I mean? But it's like, that's just who I am. I'm just like, well, why would you do that? Or why would you do this? Or why would you not do that? Or why would you? And a lot of the times it's like, oh, well, I don't know. Or the conversation kind of just goes quiet. Because it's like, I can't rejoice in like stupidity. Like, I don't, again, like with me, I make very logical decisions about everything in my life. And I've just noticed that like, it doesn't matter what age you are. Because a lot of the times I speak to people who are like a lot older than me, they be doing some dumb shit. And like, I don't say that to them, like, you know, you're doing some dumb shit. You're like, I always respond in a very like articulate, I was going to say professional, depends who I'm speaking to, but in a very like intellectual, logical way. And it's like, because you can't beat logic. But I think that because I'm so logical, it offends people. Like, I remember when there's this one girl that I was friends with, and again, she was very toxic, and she would like gossip and talk about people, but like everything that she would gossip and talk about, she would do the same things. Like people who she would bash, you know. So like one time I said to her, well, like, you know, she was telling me something that someone had done, and I said, well, you do the same thing. So I was like, so why is it a problem when they did it, but like when you do it, it's, you know, like, I'm not understanding. And then again, it's just like the silence and the, oh, you're right. And because she wanted me to go back and forth with her and start bitching. And I'm just like, well, no, like, you keep talking about this person, but you do the same thing. They're petty, you're petty, you post. And I'm not saying it in like a way to argue. I'm just literally just pointing the facts, because I'm trying to differentiate the difference between you and this person. And I'm not seeing the difference. So I don't understand why you're so annoyed by their behavior when you act the complete same. Or like, she would be like, she would like get drunk and then send me voice notes crying and be like, oh, I hate my life and I'm miserable and I hate when I drink because I become da-da-da. And I'm like, so why don't you stop drinking? And then it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, that's just me. Like, I always go to the logical part. Like, I can't, it's not that I don't know how to be comforting, but it's like, I can't be comforting in a situation where there's no logic. It's like, because my mind processes things differently. Like, I don't have an emotional reaction, especially if I'm not emotionally connected to you. Like, if I'm emotionally connected to you, that's different, because I might be more sensitive with my responses, you know, depending on who it is. Like, sometimes, like with my little brother, like when he does some dumb shit, I could be very harsh with my brother, actually. Come to think about it. But I think that's why he respects me a bit more, you know. But I'm also compassionate in the sense that, like, I make him feel comfortable to talk to me about certain things. But I will say to him, like, you know, well, why did you do that? Or what was he thinking? Or da-da-da, or, you know what I mean? Because when I'm speaking to someone, I need to understand where their mind's at. Like, in terms of like, I need to get into the mind of the person that made whatever decision it is that they are now regretting. Because for me, I think because I think about everything logically, I don't do things that I would later on regret. And I think that that's why I'm not someone who like binge drinks or binge smokes or binge sexes or does things in abundance that's not healthy, because I think that a lot of people that do that, they are trying to escape something, and normally a lot of the times it's guilt and regret. But because I make sensible decisions, I don't have anything that I'm harboring. Like, I don't have any regrets. I mean, you know, I've been through like abusive situations, like even so the other day I went out with a friend, right? And I mean, can I call her a friend? I guess so. She's like an acquaintance, kind of building up to a friend. But I went out with her, and then she was talking to me about the P. Diddy thing, okay? And I don't give a fuck about celebrities. I don't know what they're getting up to. I keep hearing about something about P. Diddy, but I'm just like, you know what I mean? I don't know about it. So I said to her, I've heard a few things, but I'm not too sure. So she showed me the video or whatnot. So I looked at the video with him like beating up Cassie or whatnot. And I remember I said to her, yeah, I said, oh, my ex like used to do that to me. I said 2 exes actually have kind of like done similar stuff in that video. So she was like, oh my God. And then like she came and she like hugged me. And I was like, no, I'm fine. And like she was like really holding on to me. And then I felt so awkward because I was just like, I don't know how to respond to this, because I wasn't emotionally attached to the situation. Like, I'm not traumatized by it, right? But she was like, then she wanted to talk about it. And I was saying to myself, like, I feel like she wants to like trauma bond or something, because I said to her, you know, because I was basically saying like, I'm not saying I don't feel sorry for Cassie or whatnot, but it's like, but like at the end of the day, I heard, or I think it was she who told me that like he paid her off the next day to drop the case or some shit. But my whole thing is like, they're rich and they got money. And it's like, when you are a normal person and you were going through abuse and you reach out to people, you tell them, nobody really wants to help you, right? So I was like, you know, and I've been through the same thing and I'm fine. So, you know what I mean? But it's like, her reaction was like very compassionate, but like I was kind of like really cold and closed off, because I was like, well, because I've disconnected from the incident. So, and that's how I know that I don't have, I mean, I'm not going to say I don't have trauma from it, but because if I had trauma from it, I wouldn't trust people and I wouldn't try to make friends or like, you know, I wouldn't have had relationships after that or whatnot. But it's like, I'm not emotionally attached to the situation where I'm like, okay, you know, let's get a drink and you know, and then start crying about it. Because I think that that's what she wanted me to do. She wanted me to get emotional about it and talk about the experience. And I mean, I spoke to her about it, but I wasn't emotional. I was like, I'm not emotional because I'm no longer, I've detached from that situation. And when I was in that situation, I took the necessary precautions to get out of it. Because a lot of people I do know that are like in abusive situations, when they have avenues to leave, they don't. You know, I've tried to help many people who have been in abusive situations, because I've been in abusive situations, and when I was in one, I wanted help and no one helped me. So when I see that someone is going through abuse, I've tried to, you know, do what I can to help. And a lot of the times people like to stay in it. I mean, I made a video about this with the toxic people, right? So when I was speaking to her about this, it was almost like she was expecting me to, like, you know, overindulge in conversations and go through the whole process. And I think because when you see someone being battered and when you hear about it, it's 2 different things. It makes it, it's like, because when she saw the video and I was like, yeah, like, you see when he slammed her or whatnot, yeah, my ex done that to me, and the whole kicking in the leg, and then like my ex punched me in the same place he kicked me, and da-da-da, like, I was like, yeah, like, you know, but it was like the image is so graphic, I guess, so it kind of affects someone even more, because it's like they can actually see, they can put an image to the experience. Whereas if you just hear someone talking about it, it doesn't hit you the same, because, you know what I mean? So I could understand why she felt really empathetic. And, you know, if someone had told me that in real life, that they had experienced it, I probably would have been like very empathetic too. Like, oh my goodness, you know, but that's because I've been through it. But I wasn't like, I think that she was expecting me to like cry or, you know, and I'm just like, no. Like, I mean, I remember the last time, because I've hung out with her twice, and last year I hung out with her one time, and I was talking to her about my mum, because my mum's like kidney failure, right? And at that time, because I just had the news and I was currently like going through it, like I remember just breaking down, because at that time I was dating someone and we had just reconciled, and I told them about it and they didn't give a shit. So I was really emotional, because I was like, you know, whenever I'm going through something, nobody cares. But whenever somebody's going through something, I'm always there for them, right? So I remember just being we was in this salad bar, and I just broke down, and she came and she hugged me, and then I was like, well, I feel like I really needed that, because I don't break down. I'm kind of like mentally strong all the time. So I think she was expecting, it to be like that again. But I'm like, well, the difference between that experience and their experience with the abusive relationships is that I'm not attached to that experience anymore. Whereas like when it comes to like my mother, like the health issues are ongoing, so it's a touchy subject, and I could become emotional speaking about it just because I'm going through it. But like if I'm not going through something anymore and I've separated myself from the situation and I've had time to heal, I've healed from it. Like I'm not gonna like make trauma bonds and keep going on about it and keep talking and like meeting up every weekend and drinking about, oh yeah, my ex this and what did your ex do? Like, why are we doing that? Like we can be talking about healthy things and healthy development, and you know, even like you know, I remember speaking to someone and they were talking about like they wanted to go on a diet, but it's like every time they order food, it will be like several lasagnas, like chips, this, that, and the third, but they want to lose weight, not go on a diet, they wanted to lose weight. And then I really wanted to say to them, like, well, don't you think that, you know, if you're serious about losing weight, why, rather than ordering lasagnas, why don't you order salad? Rather than eating chips, why don't you do this? Why don't you get up and walk every single day rather than like sit on your ass? Like, but then again, I can recognize when something may be offensive. So I kind of learn when to say things and when not to say things. Like sometimes I'll say something to someone and I'll like delete the message because I'm like, I don't know. Like I recognize that truth for some people is just not for them. Like people love to live in their own little delusions, their own little lies. The only time I feel like I can be like real brutally honest with someone is like if I just don't give a fuck about someone, or if I don't want to speak to someone again, or if I don't give a fuck about a bridge being burnt. But like I do find that like I do have to think about what I say when it comes to certain things, because at the end of the day, people can make decisions. Like it's their life, they can do whatever the fuck they want. But what I don't really understand is the whole like making a dumb decision and then complaining about it, when it's like, but you decided to do that. Because I've noticed that when people make decisions, they want to blame everybody else but themselves. And it's like, but you decided to do that. And then when you ask them why, they can't give you an explanation. Like if you ask me why, I can justify every little thing. Even if I don't know why I did something, like I will be able to say like, well, I don't know why I did it, but I wanted to. People can't even say that. Like, do you know what I mean? But I can always justify something. So I was saying to myself, like, honesty is, sorry, it was like a fly. Honesty is just, I feel like in order to maintain like a not a healthy, but a long friendship or a relationship, I feel like you have to be like a liar or a manipulator or a deceiver. And I just don't understand that. And I feel like the only people that I feel like I can resonate with are people that like I watch online that like say like they talk about being like autistic or not, like having like antisocial personality disorder. I was like, maybe I have that, because like I don't like, it's not that I don't like people, I just don't like the actions that people take in their life. Okay. Because half the time when I'm speaking to someone, I'm like, why would you do that? And it's like, I can't help it. I'm just thinking like, and then it's like, I feel like I make people feel judged. And it's like, I'm not judging you, but I kind of am. But it's not like, I don't judge people based on how they look and things like that, because I think that's really like mean and just superficial. It's more about something like, when something doesn't make sense, my brain kind of goes into like overdrive, and I'm just like, okay. And it's like, you could be talking to me and telling me the whole story, but I'm stuck on the first bit, which is like, but why, you know? But that's only like, I have to be triggered into that. Whereas like with me, when I'm speaking to someone, like I mean exactly what the fuck I say, but they start to overanalyze and then think like if I say pink, they think I'm saying blue. And it's like, no, I said pink, bitch. Why do you think it's blue when I said pink? Because they will say pink when they know that they mean blue. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So it's like, I can't, like, I don't understand people. I don't understand why people, like, I mean, I do and I don't. Like, I'm obsessed with psychology and brains and mental health disorders. And because I'm like, there has to be a disorder of the mind for people to, like, behave the way that they do. Like, so many people make so much illogical decisions. Or, like, again, with the emotional thing, the reason why I was saying is why I might be, like, a high functioning autistic person is because I don't understand, like, the emotional imbalance. Like, I don't understand excessive anger, and I don't understand excessive sadness, like, for no reason. So I feel like when people are like going through those episodes for like, and there's no particular reason, I think it must be like a disorder or a trigger or something. Because my whole thing is like, you could be talking to someone and they get so angry, and I'm like, why are you so mad? Like, anytime that I have been really, really angry, it, like, there has been, like, a justified reason for me to be really, really angry. Or anytime I've been really, really emotional and upset, there has been, like, a justified reason. But it's like some people, they'll be, like, so angry for no fucking reason, and they'll flip. And I'm just like, again, the logic, I'm trying to understand, how did you get from here to here? What was said? Now, I understand that different people take offense to different things, and some people are more sensitive to certain things than others. But again, it's like, that's why I'm thinking like, am I autistic? Because I'm just like, but why? And I really do hold on to what people say. Like, if you say something, I'll believe what you say until you give me a reason for me to be like, okay, this bitch is chatting some shit. Because in my mind, what reason do you have to lie? You know, or, so it's like if someone says, oh, I'm gonna call you back, like, and then I'll get off the phone and I'll literally sit there for hours waiting because I think that you're gonna call me back and you didn't. And again, I've noticed like the autistic type people are like that. Like, I don't know if anyone has seen Community with Abed. He's like the Indian version of Sheldon Cooper. There was an episode where they were doing a social experiment on who could like stay the longest in a room without leaving after being told that someone is gonna see them, but the person never comes. Like, how long will people wait until they break and say, fuck it, I'm leaving, right? So Abed was the only one that sat down and stayed in the room. Everybody else, they left, that they just couldn't wait because they're like, nobody's coming to get us, what's going on? And then when Annie came out to speak to Abed, and she was like, why did you stay? And he said, well, because you said you were coming and you're my friend. And like, she felt so guilty. But that's me. Like, I'm so loyal. Like, if you say to me that you're gonna call me or you're gonna come and pick me up, I will sit there and I will wait for you. And then when you don't come, I'm like, well, why didn't you come though? And like with me, again, because I know with like some autistic people, so didn't miss my behind your wire for this one, Magpie. I know that like some of them, it takes them long to process like emotions. So for me, it will like, depending on who it is, like if it's someone that like I love or I care about or whatnot, I will be disappointed and a bit sad. But like the first thing I would be thinking is like, why? Like, I remember when my dad was supposed to pick me up, like, for my 14th birthday, and he never came, and I got dressed, and I was waiting on him, and then I called him, and he tried to say that he forgot, and that he didn't have any money, but yet he was in a game shop buying my brother's games. So, again, when he was talking to me, I was 14 at the time, I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, but why are you in the shop buying my brother a game, but you don't have any money? Like, he should have just left it at, like, I forgot it was your birthday, but he was like, oh, I don't got no money, I don't got this, and I'm just like, but you're in the shop buying my brother a PlayStation game. Because that's the first thing that he said when I called him. So he had forgotten that it was my birthday. So when I called him to say, oh, such and such, then he tried to say, oh, yeah, no, I ain't got no money. But it was like the lie couldn't come together because you'd already revealed you have already revealed the truth in the start of the conversation. But, you know, so, and then it was like, you know, my mum felt really bad and everyone like felt sorry for me. And everyone's like, oh my God, Leonie, you've been through so much. Because people always say that to me because I've been through a lot growing up. And people always get really like feel sorry for me like when I tell them, but it's like, well, people who give a fuck, okay, or people who have in the past, should I say, no one cares now, but with me, it's not that like I'm not sad about it. It's just that my first action is like, well, why? Why would you lie? Or why would you say that? Or why would you, like, you know, if you're not going to show up, or if you're not going to call someone back, why can't you just say to that person, oh, you know what, something's come up, I'll call you back tomorrow, or I'm not going to call you, but such and such. Like, the common courtesy, the manners, like, I'm always like, why? Like, why do people have to be so disrespectful? Or why do people just lie? Like if I say I want to go now, and I don't know when I'm going to call you, that will be that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to sit there and knowing that somebody's waiting on me to call them, waiting on me to come and get them, waiting on me. Like, I can't have that on my conscience. And I think that that's, like I said, a lot of the reasons why people get to a certain age and they get really depressed and they get this and the third, because they treat people unfairly, and then they don't understand why they do it. So I'm like, well, maybe you're crazy or you've got some type of disorder. I don't know, but I'm starting to think, do I have a disorder? But like, I have like one of the good ones, or or like, you know, because I just don't get it. I just don't get it. But like, I was saying to myself, like, if I want like a friendship where someone is going to be like loyal, or like a relationship where someone is going to be loyal and not lustful, I feel like the best person is like someone who's like a high level autistic person. Because I feel like I'll be able to have a practical and logical conversation without there being offense taken, without there being indirect, without them being insecure. Because I found that as well, like when I'm in friendships with people, they become very insecure. I don't know why. I don't know what it is about me that makes people insecure, but I know that with women, they're very envious of each other. And it's like, I can't share like a lot of the stuff that I can do. Like, oh my God, you can bake a cake. Oh my God, you can cook. Oh my God, you can draw. Oh my God, you can make a dress. Oh my God, you can do this. Oh my God, you can do that. Oh my God, you got what in that essay? Like, people always seem to be surprised by like my gifts, my talents, and my intellect. So it's like I get uncomfortable sharing things with other women, especially because when I do, it's like, then it becomes like some type of competitive energy. And I'm not interested in competing or being like any bitch. Like when somebody says like, oh, you're trying to be like me, be like you which part-time of the year? You know what I mean? Because like, that's the thing, you really don't want me to hurt your feelings, because I can give you a list of why the fuck I would not want to be anything like you. You know, so I like people who are like different. And I think that's why I'm drawn to like the oddballs, you know, the people that are socially awkward and find it hard to like make friends. And I think that like that would be like, I would just love to have a friend that was you know, like me. But like, when you are unique and different and rare, that's the sad thing about being rare. It's like you're rare. So, because I mean, I've done personality tests because I used to think something was wrong with me. I got a rare personality test. I got rare birth cards. My chart is rare. So I'm like, I really am my own little unique individual. But it's like, you know, like how there's like an LGBT community, or there's like communities, but it's like, where's the asexual community, or where's the socially awkward community, or where's the like community where people like don't get offended, and you know what I mean? Like where's the community where do I fit? Where's the community where people are not driven by lust and like celebrity gossip and the internet, and are not threatened by each other, therefore they're not mean. You know what I mean? Like, or not trying to use each other, or not trying to hide anything from one another. Like, where are the people that think logically before they make decisions? Like, you know what I mean? And like, where are the men that like don't want to, I mean, I'm not going to say I want a guy that doesn't ever want to fuck, because you want someone to be sexually attracted to you. I mean, let's just keep it 100. You know what I mean? Like, I want my man to want to rip my clothes off. I'm not going to lie, but I don't want that to be the basis of our relationship. I don't also want that to be the reason as to why someone wants to be with me. Like, because a lot of the times it's kind of like, I feel like guys are looking for like some kind of trophy wife, and I can't be that. And I find that like when you do express your intellect, like it threatens men. Like, they'll say like, I want an intelligent, smart woman that thinks for herself. No, they don't. No, they don't. They don't want that at all, because, you know, when you start demonstrating that you're not a dickhead, that's when the relationships, it gets a bit, you know, it's almost like they want you to be like this like pretty little dolly that just sits down and like just doesn't have opinions and doesn't say shit. And it's like, nah, that's not me, darling. So, you know what I mean? But that's why I've always been attracted to nerds, because when I was younger, I was pretty much like a girly tomboy. I've never really liked a lot of women. Even when I went to a girls' school, it was so much for me. I remember like in year 9, I said to my mom, I need to move. I was on the waiting list to go to a mixed school, but then because, you know, in year 9, I think that's when you chose your GCSEs and everything, and it was just too, because I was on the waiting list, so by the time they would have accepted me in the other school, I would have been like in the middle of doing exams and stuff. So my mom was just like, just stick it out. But that's when I learned how vindictive women were. But like, even from primary school, I always gravitated more towards the boys. But like I said, because I'm like very feminine, if you see someone like me walking around with like 3 guys, because people are so dumb and they're so superficial minded and they're so judgmental, they're not going to see it as like, oh yeah, we're all hanging out, we're going to have fun, we're going to the arcade, we're going ice skating, we're going bike riding. They're going to see it as like, she's probably sucking all their dicks. And that's another reason why I can't be friends with women, because their mindset, not all women, because, you know, there must be women like me out there, but their mindset is very, like, they don't think the way that I think. They look at something and like, they're like, yeah, that's what that is, and this is what's happening. Like, they come up with their own illusions and delusions. Men do this too, though, which is what I found in relationships. Like, I wasn't allowed to have any friends. In a lot of my abusive relationships, because I got on more with guys and they couldn't like trust me. And then, you know, even when I didn't have any friends, it's like, I'm not trusted when I don't have friends, and then I'm trusted when I do have friends. You know, I mean, I'm not trusted either way, because it's like, if say I'm in a relationship with someone, they're like, okay, well, you need to make friends, Leonie, or you need to go out or whatever, and I'm like, okay. Then it's like, oh my God, did you fuck them? Did you do this? Did you do that? Like, they get really jealous. So it's like, okay, you want me to have friends, and when I go get friends, you're questioning me about the friends. But then when I don't have friends, it's like, I need to get a life and I need to have some friends. So what do you want, bitch? You know what I mean? Or I can have friends, but it can't be male friends. And it's like, as I'm older as well, I can't make friends with guys because they always want to have sex. So even if they don't say it, they will like, you know, women, you know, like when a guy wants to fuck you, you know, they're just very inappropriate. Yeah, and it's like, I have to like make sure that I'm all covered up and just like a nun if I'm around certain people, because there's something about my energy. And it's like, I want to be able to be free. This is why I like nerdy people, because I know that I could sit here like this next to a nerdy person and they're not going to be thinking anything sexual, because their mind doesn't operate like that. It doesn't mean that they may not find me attractive at all, or they may, it doesn't matter. But the fact of the matter is, they will not demonstrate that to me. And that's what I like. Like, other women, they can't really handle that, because I feel like a lot of people are very insecure and they always want attention. Like, one time I was speaking to this one guy and I was like, oh my God, this is the guy that I need in my life. Okay, but he was like someone that worked at like my brother's youth center like a few years ago. So, you know, it wasn't going to happen. But I remember I was sitting down speaking to him, and he was saying to me that like, because we were having this type of conversation. He was saying, oh, women always say they want that. But he said that like, one time he was chilling with this girl and he didn't make a move on her. And then she told all her friends that he was gay. And he was like, women always say that they want a gentleman. Because he was tall, dark, handsome, just everything. Like, good job. He could drive. He just ticking all the boxes, lives by himself. You know what I mean? Wasn't one of those people. He didn't have no kids. Jesus, honestly, no baby mama drama, didn't live with no woman or nothing. Like, he just ticked all the boxes. So I'm just like, you are like the epitome of what every woman wants. And he was like, yeah, I know, like, girls always say that to me, but when he shows women respect, he said that they will say that he's gay. So he's like, women act like they want someone to treat them nice, but they really don't. So he was like that he's not putting himself out there, like he doesn't want to get to know women because every time he's in a relationship he feels like he has to prove that he's a good guy because of the way that he looks. And I was like, me too. And I was like, Divine, did you just send me my soulmate? But like, you know, that it didn't go in like a romantic way. That was like one conversation I had with him, like one time. But I feel like it was like a sign from the divine to show that there are people like you out there. Like there is a male version of you out there going through the same fucking struggles, you know? Because he seemed to be very logical like me. He's like, well, why would I do this and da-da-da? And then he was just like, you know, and then he goes, if he does try to put a move on a girl, then she'll be like, oh my God, that's all you want me for. And I'm like, and then he even said, like, he said that he was trying to say to one of his friends, like, sometimes you just want to go, like, where you can just chill with, like, even if she wants to lay down, like, half naked or whatnot, like, sometimes you just want someone to talk to, and I'm like, and then he was like, none of his male friends understood it, and I'm just like, you're one of the rare breeds, darling. And I was just like, Divine, if you could just, like, package that in a box and send that to me, that would be great. But it didn't happen that way. Okay, it didn't happen that way at all. But you know, like there's, you know, like there's always that one conversation that you'll just never forget. Like I will never forget him. I will never forget him. He was so handsome. Yeah. But he was going through the same struggles as me. Like, it's just like, he was not interested in knowing anybody because he just goes that, like, he wants, you know, what he felt like he was what women wanted or what women say that they want. But when they're actually in that scenario, it's like, well, are you gay? Are you this? Are you that? Why don't you want to fuck me? But then the same women that's saying that, they don't want to be treated like that. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like, and I'm just saying to him, sorry guys, my nose. I was just saying to him, like, you know, same situation, but obviously, you know, it's like the other way around for a woman. Like, and that's the thing, it's like when you're by yourself, right, when you live alone and you're like, you know, what people would consider attractive or whatnot, I mean, these days I don't even think it matters if a guy's attracted to you or not. Like, you know, some men are just nasty, but it would be like, oh, you know, when am I coming round? Like, what do you mean, when are you coming round? Like, when are we going out? When are you inviting me somewhere? Like, so there's that. People just don't want to get to know you. And then if somebody does take you out, it's like they feel like you owe them something. So that's another thing as to why, like, I get really, like, wary about people want to take me out on dates. Because I think, like, okay, well, if you want to take me out on a date, do you think that this equates to, like, us being together or sleeping together? Or do you, like, because I feel like nobody does anything to be nice. There's always, like, an ulterior motive. But, like, when you're someone that just genuinely wants companionship, like, as like a friendship, you want someone who you could just sit down and talk to, and there's no, like, bullshit in the conversation. You know what I mean? It's very hard, you know, because, yeah. And also what I liked about that guy, the guy that I had that one conversation with, like, I think it was, like, last year or the year before. I remember he said, like, he wasn't on any social networks, and I was like... And he just wasn't about the like, you know, like, everybody's just lost in the society these days and what's going on online, and people just waste their lives online for hours focusing on people's business, like celebrities that don't give a fuck about them. Like, I'm just not about the celebrity. Like, I prefer to, like, watch, like, real people like myself who, like, I can relate to, if I do watch people online. But he wasn't about that either. Like, he didn't really know, like, half the singers and the rappers and everything. And I'm just like, me too. But it's like, people always think I'm weird. Like, oh, you don't know who so-and-so is? I'm like, no, who's that? And I'm like, why is it important for me to know? Like, is this giving me some type of credentials, or is this, like, you know what I mean? Like, what, how is this helping me in any way? Like, is this helping me financially? Is this helping me, like, academically? What is the purpose for me knowing this? Okay. I mean, let's talk about what's going on with the radiation and how it's affecting Earth. How all of this Wi-Fi and this technology right now is affecting planet Earth. Let's talk about that. And even I was trying to talk about that with, like, the friend who I went out with the other day, and then she was like, oh, well, you know, if we do go eco-friendly and such, she goes, it's not really going to help anyway because the planet is already damaged. I'm like, what are you saying? Like, what are you even saying? That's like saying the body can't repair itself. Because, like, she believes in, like, you know, like holistic diet and holistic health. And I'm just like, well, the same stuff that the nature that you put in your body to try and cure yourself, if nature can cure the human body, nature can also rebuild itself. So if we went back to nature and stopped like overusing technology, because I was saying to her that I feel like technology has come to a point where it's like too advanced for this planet. I thought there are other planets in the solar system that this type of technology can sustain, but not here. I feel like Earth, we're supposed to be using earthly things. We're not supposed to be paying for gas and electric, okay? We can get that from solar energy, okay? We're not supposed to be like there's just not supposed to be all of this shit going on. I feel like this is why another reason as to why there's so much people who are like mentally ill, because I feel like it takes a toll on people's actual mental health. I feel like the frequencies and but anyway, this conversation is going in a different direction, but this is what I'm saying. These are types of conversations I like to have. But she was trying to say like, well, how would it help the planet? It would help the planet vastly. The planet will regenerate and rebuild itself. It will take a long time because obviously there's so much damage, but of course it can restart, it can reboot. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I don't know, man. And this is why this is why I just can't with people, you know, because I be getting like mad about like things that are like really important, and like people be getting mad about like, you know, what fucking Nicki Minaj said to like Meg the Stallion or some shit. And I'm like, how are you getting mad on these women's behalf? But like there's actual things going on in the planet that are actually affecting like normal people, and you're not getting mad about that. You know what I mean? Honestly, I just don't understand it. So I was like, am I fucking autistic? Like, am I a high functioning autistic person? What am I? What is the word for me? Honestly. Because I'm like, why does nobody care about this stuff? Or like people would just like give me dumb answers, and I'm just like, or again, I'm not going to say people's answers are dumb because, you know, it's people's opinions, but the logic. Again, I go back to questioning, well, why would you say that? Well, why would you think that? Well, if this and this and this can work, then why would that not work? And then it's all like, oh my goodness, Leonie's come up with this. Then they'll start looking at me. It's almost like they're trying to figure me out in their mind. Because it's like, yeah, because you had an opinion of me, didn't you? You thought I was a dumb bitch, didn't you? But I'm not, though. So now you're starting to think, okay, well, am I dumb? Because I didn't even think about it like that. Like, that's the type of conversations I'll be having with people. Because I always have like a comeback for what someone has to say. I always have a comeback, but it's not like a tit for tat thing. It's just more like I just want to, trying to understand thing. But again, when you are talking to like women in particular, it turns into the tit for tat. Or even men, because it's like, okay, well, you know, who's smarter than who and who can come up with a, you know, more logical and plausible argument. And it's not about that. I'm genuinely trying to understand, like, what are you saying? Okay, or like, if I feel like your idea is really fascinating, I want to know more without you trying to like put me down, you know, and vice versa. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say. And I was going to talk about the asexual stuff, but I mean, I've already touched on that on my other video about the sex thing. I think that's why I don't have like like sexual desires, because it's like, you can find someone attractive, and when you start speaking to them, you're just like, like, you know, you know what I mean? Or like I'll bring up a point and then, or like they'll be like heavy drinkers and heavy smokers. So I could speak to someone that's like really intelligent, but then it's like they do something excessively that I don't do. So then it will be like, okay, I'm going to have to like either start smoking or drinking to kind of like lower my vibration to be on this person's level. Or I'm just going to have to like not acknowledge it at all. But then it's like, then it makes the other person feel uncomfortable. Like, I don't know if you're like a non-drinker watching this or a non-smoker. When you're around people that don't drink and don't smoke, they don't like it. And if you are someone that doesn't like smell, like, I hate the smell of cigarettes. It really irritates me. I mean, I'm sniffling all through this video. I'm always sniffling because like the littlest thing irritates me. The pollen in the air, it irritates me, right? So I don't like that. I don't mind the smell of weed, but again, it's like, I don't feel like you can really have a proper conversation with someone who's like always high. Because half the time when they're sober, they don't remember what it is that you were speaking about. And then there's that. When people are like high or drunk, it's like, Who am I speaking to? And can I check in with this person tomorrow? Because more time it's like, oh my God, I don't remember a clue what we spoke about yesterday. And I'm just like, and then it's the whole like, oh, remember when you said this, like, if you're talking to someone and you're not aware that they're high or that they're drunk, and then like you bring up something that they said like the following days, and then they'll be like, why didn't I never said that? And I'm like, yes you did. And they're like, no, I don't. And then it turns into an unnecessary argument just because I'm trying to just continue a conversation. Then it will be like, I have to get the receipts out, like, okay, no, actually you said it. And then it will be like, oh my God, like you're saving the conversation. It's like, it's not that I'm saving the conversation, it's just that I don't have a reason to delete the conversation, and I didn't save it to bring it up because I didn't think you were going to lie about it, or I didn't think that you were not going to remember. So then again, it's kind of like, are half the people am I speaking to, are they liars, or are they just always fucking high all the time? You know what I mean? So it's just, honestly. And it's like, you can't say any of these things without, like I said, people being offended. It's like, I feel like we live in a very robotic world where AI has just taken over, but then at the same time, everybody's so overly emotional about everything. Like, you can say, oh, there's a white man or a black woman across the road. Oh my God, you called me a white man. Well, that's what you are. That's not offensive. It's just a statement. You know what I mean? Like that. Or there was a tall black girl outside. Oh my God, you're saying I'm tall. Well, I mean, you're over 6 foot, so... Like, you know what I mean? It's like you can't say anything without someone taking offense to the actual truth, to the actual facts. It's not like you're being offensive. It's like I am making a statement. It's like if I said, oh my God, there's a bird right there. Oh my God, there's a bird. What do you mean there's a bird? I mean, there's a bird. Honestly. People really rub me up the wrong way, man. Honestly. But anyway, that's all I wanted to speak about today. I just had to get that off of my chest. Like, am I autistic? Am I asexual? What am I? I don't know. But I need to know where the community of people are that are like me. Like, that's what I need to know. Like, are they hiding out in the libraries? Because I know the libraries are shutting down and shit because people are not on the libraries anymore. So is that where I need to go? Do I need to go to the library? Like, where do I need to go to meet these types of people? And people that are actually like this, not people that are like portraying that they're like this to try and be your friend, and then like after you are their friends, like the real mask starts to come off and you see who they really are, which is like a groveling like that's like that is honestly how I feel like most people are. I feel like most people are like, but they like try to act normal, but they're not. They're just like okay. All right, I'm gonna go now because that probably offended a couple hundred people or 10 people, whoever the fuck is gonna watch this. But again, I don't care because it's just like, I want to be able to speak my truth without like worrying if someone has taken offense. It's like fucking grow a pair. You know what I mean? Honestly. Like, you know how many people chat shit all the time? People chat shit about like natural hair. People chat shit about like, non-smokers or non-drinkers. Like, oh, you're boring, you're this, you're that, you're that. People chat shit about artists. People chat shit about smart people. People chat shit about shit all the time. And I put up with it. I don't really care because it's like, that's their opinion. But it's like, if you say something that I was like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that. Oh my God, unsubscribe, unfollow, block, or I'm going to attack you in the comments. Like, because I'm honest? Because I don't want to live a lie? Because I actually value the world and what's happening to the planet? I mean, honestly. But anyway, I'm going to go now because I've said enough. But thank you for those who have been watching. And I'll think about I'll think about what I want to speak about next. If anyone has a topic or anything for me to talk about, let me know in the comment section. But this is kind of like, it's like a podcast / diary channel, I would say. Not really a diary. It's more like my thoughts. I guess diary, you put your thoughts in. But it's more like, it was supposed to be a podcast on different episodes of different things. But now I'm kind of just talking about whatever just comes to my mind. Because I don't have anyone to express it to. Okay. So yeah. Bye.